You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, and of course we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. And let's take a look at what we're going to celebrate. There's a lot of good celebrations items on here today. Get to know your customers day. I like that one. Okay, well, do we know you? Maybe you're not even a customer. Maybe you are just a listener, and we appreciate you listening. We know you have places you could be. We know there are other things you could be listening to, so we appreciate you. High Five Day. I don't know. We don't have anybody here to high five in the studio. But National High Five Day. Yellow Bat Day. I'm not going to say it. Although maybe I don't know. Maybe they're referring to baseball bats. Could that possibly be the case? I don't know if you're a Angel fan. How about the baseball bats yesterday? Well, it was a good game yesterday. We gotta love that. The Angels and Shohei Ohtani doing some pretty remarkable things there as a pitcher. But having beaten anorexia, you know where I'm going today. We know exactly what I'm going to be celebrating, because whenever there is chocolate involved, you can count on me. We'll be celebrating National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day. Yeah. Love that one. Yeah, we'll take it. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 57 points. S&P 500 down 159. NASDAQ down 38. Oil up another $1.53 per barrel. What's that doing to gas prices? I don't know if I even want to think about it, because I'm envious. My friend Josh here, he's going to go see $3.86 a gallon next week. $3.86. While we sit here in the state of confusion, paying $5.70 a gallon. Ow! $5.70. Jody, you're at $4.57. At least as there in America, it's doing a little bit better. And Lori, Lori's right around the same as what Josh is going to pay, about a half a penny more, $3.87 down there in Louisiana. Got to go down there and get gas. I guess we're not going to get gas here in the formerly Golden State. Unbelievable for the amount of money we're paying. Talking about unbelievable, did you catch this one yesterday? Only in D.C. Did you see this? I don't know if you saw this one. So Washington, D.C. yesterday, they are evacuating the Capitol complex. Did you see that? They decided they had to evacuate the Capitol complex yesterday. Why? Well, there was a serious threat to the Capitol with an aircraft coming into the Capitol area. Okay, I get it. You evacuate the Capitol when there's a serious threat. You know what the threat was, though? And I can't make this up. Washington Nationals had a baseball game, and coming out of Joint Base Andrews was a plane filled with skydivers who were jumping into the stadium. That was the threat of the Capitol complex. That's what they had to evacuate for. Don't make this stuff up. I just report it. I did find it a bit humorous because, well, it's not funny, but I mean, don't you think they should have a little bit better communication there in Washington, especially when it's one of our own military planes that's coming in? I would just throw that out there, and you got to just wonder about some of these things that go on in DC. Do they have any clue what's going on out there at any given time in the day? I throw it out there. I question it. I doubt that they have. Well, my belief is they are clueless, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's see what else is going on in the world right now. There's a lot of stuff out there that's been happening. We haven't been reporting on a lot. Decided that we'd give you a break from all the politics and just get into some basic news stories, basic news coverage. Kind of love the news area of what's going on. In some instances, wish we could get some more positive news. That would be a little bit better, in my opinion, just to see what's going on. Got the big mayor race going on here in Southern California. Rick Caruso. Gotta love. I've been accused of not liking any Democrat, but I do find Rick Caruso fascinating because the man just seems to go out there and do what he says, giving money to homelessness, solving that problem, the different issues here. I gotta love that one. What else is going on in the news? Let's see if the finance world. I always love watching the finance. Tesla comes out with reported their earnings, beating expectations by a lot. Stock was down after hours yesterday, but it's recovered and going up nicely this morning. So if you are a Tesla holder, a shareholder, you're probably a little happy, or you're a lot happy about watching what's going on in that world. Elon Musk, man, the guy, I thought that we'd never see anybody like Steve Jobs, but I think Elon Musk might be giving him a run for his money. We're going to continue watching him and seeing what he's doing, but he's done a lot. Think about it. Electric cars, batteries, space travel, a lot of changes that man's bringing about. I just throw that out there. Let's see what else we've got. The Obama is set to end their exclusive deal with Spotify. So I wonder what's going to happen with the Spotify stock. Watch that one. Disney, obviously, in a big battle with the state of Florida. So we're keeping an eye on that for you. See what happens there. Oh, let's see what else. It's amazing that we keep on finding all these different things going on. Obviously, the president, I saw him. Well, I don't know if he was speaking this morning or what we would call that, because it was very difficult to understand some of the things that he was talking about. He does get confused here and there, so that's scary. Russian President Putin came out and said that our president has dementia. Would not surprise me, having lived through that with my own father. I think that I see some of that going on there as well. So it's a shame, but it's also, when you think about it, the commander-in-chief of the United States, and we're worried about these things. That's a scary topic. So we're watching that, and you need to watch it as well. What do you think? What's going on? If you have any thoughts about any of these things, StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYard.com/Facebook. You can actually comment on the radio program. Tell us who you are so we know, and we will, in many instances, share that information. StreamYard.com/Facebook. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why this housing market is not a bubble ready to pop, how to use your tax refund to build credit, evaluating bid over ask on real estate. All of that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I agree with you, Jody. Let's go Trump 24. Can we get a nasty tweet, please? Right, whether you like the guy or not, the policies, they were there. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's take a look, see what the markets are doing this morning. The S&P 500 are basically flat, up 0.65. The mortgage-backed securities, they're down 45 basis points. That is painful. If you remember our broadcast yesterday, when the mortgage bonds go down, interest rates go up. 10-year Treasury is up 11 basis points this morning. That's a massive move on the 10-year Treasury. Why is this happening? We're always looking for the reasons why. Actually, before we get to the reasons why it's happening, let's just tell you that with that bond down, and it's down 45 basis points. Now, we every Thursday morning, 7 o'clock here in California, we get the Freddie Mac Mortgage Market Survey. And the survey is done Monday through Wednesday. That's how they do it all the time. So they do their survey Monday through Wednesday. They come out with a survey, and they report the results on Thursday. They do the survey Monday through Wednesday, report the results on Thursday. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage, according to Freddie Mac, 5.11%, and you had to pay 8/10 to get it. Now, you know that I give you the exact number every morning or most mornings. From OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Loans yesterday actually locked 30-year conforming, 5.324. That's the 30-year conforming number. So, yes, Freddie Mac did the survey earlier in the week. They came up with a 5.11, but the real number is 5.324. 5.324. But you may be able to get some of that stuff. You probably can't get the OBMMI. They don't. That's not a public number, or it's not as widely reported. But the why question is, why is all of this happening? Well, as we've told you right along, it's inflation. Big problem, and the Federal Reserve knows it. Now, if you listen to the Fed speakers, men are saying that they believe we can achieve a soft landing. Now, do you believe that? Yeah, right. Does the Fed ever come up with a soft landing? That means that they can tighten while not causing a recession. Hogwash. Charlie Evans and the Blackstone CEO mentioned the issue of wage and price spiral. This means that as inflation goes up, goods cost more, people demand more wages. But then those higher wages cause more dollars chasing fewer products and cause more inflation. This spiral can be problematic, especially with the supply chain issues that appear to need much more time to sort out. There's also a story that came out regarding the jet fuel shortages in the Northeast. Think about that one. Running out of jet fuel out there in the Northeast. Don't plan your trip to the Northeast this summer. Might cause even more problems. Now, everyone's talking about the recession, especially as the Fed is hiking rates. likely again 50 basis points at the next few meetings. Does the Fed know what they are doing, or are they crazy? The only thing the Fed can do to curb this rapidly rising inflation is destroy the demand side of their economy. And while the Fed will never admit this, their plan may be to cause a recession because it's the only thing that they will effectively reduce inflation. The last time the Fed hiked by 50 basis points, that was in the year 2000. We had a recession in less than a year. And a couple of the Fed speakers are actually saying right now they think that we should be raising 50 basis points several times this year. We're at a 0.25 Fed funds rate, and we're heading to 3.5 if Fed voting member Bullard has his way. So 3.5. What does that mean? What's that going to do to issues? So here's the fact of the matter is, as people are watching this increase going through, the big money, the capital expenditures, the big corporations that put a lot of money to work and investment, they're going to have to start doing a double take, because a lot of times they're borrowing at about 6 points above the Fed funds rate. So if they're thinking about borrowing right now at 6%, 6.25%, which is about that 6 over the Fed funds rate, well, by the time they get there, you might be looking at 9.5%. Might give them a reason to think twice. And if you listen to our broadcast yesterday, one of the comments or it might have been the day before, one of the items that we were contemplating, one of the items that we've been talking about is strategic refinancing. Strategic refinancing. Now, if you're looking to do a rate and term, no logic in doing that at all right now. Unless you did a purchase money loan with a home equity line of credit to cover whatever reason you had for it. That purchase money home equity line of credit, you may want to consider rolling that into a new loan right now. Why? Because it's considered, well, a purchase money isn't. But if you have a home equity line of credit, it's going to go up. The interest rates on it are going to go up. So, and if you're doing a cash out to pay off bills or do home improvement, that's going to be considered a cash out refi. That's what you did with the home equity line of credit. Now you roll that into a new loan right now. Yes, I understand the interest rates are high, but 6 to 12 months from now, when we are in that recession that we've been talking about, and we've been sharing the idea that we're going to go into a recession. It's about a year now that I've been saying, not a year. It's been since the end of last year that I've been saying we're going to be seeing a recession end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023. When is it going to happen? I don't know. I don't have the exact date. But what I do know is we're on our way to it. And with that being the case, the strategy is pay off your debts now, take out some of the equity from your property. Maybe even you want to buy another property. Take out as much equity as you can right now. Even if you're just putting it into a safe, secure investments. If you don't know of any, I can tell you our friend Todd Halterman has some great ones that you can get a hold of. And get involved in a safe, secure investment, or, I know FINRA doesn't like me to say that, or buy another piece of property that you can use as a rental property. Then when we get the recession and lower interest rates, you restructure the loan, because now you don't get that hit for being a cash out refinance. You actually get to do a rate and term loan because you've already did the cash out refi. Now you felt that pain for a short period of time, and you restructure into a longer loan for a longer period of time. That's a strategy that we constantly share with people, because we're not looking to just be a mortgage company, mortgage originators. That's not what we do. We are liability advisors. We want to look at saying all the different liabilities that you have. How do we manage those? Why? Because once you've got your liabilities under control, you've got a better opportunity to save more and more money and maybe have that safe, secure retirement that maybe you want. Some of us like to work. I enjoy doing the radio show every morning. Maybe if I can get up a little later, that'd be nice. But getting up here, coming and talk to you each morning, got to love that one. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Jody, I didn't see this. Warner Brother is shutting down CNN. Hadn't seen that one. I don't know. We're going to have to check that out. It's kind of like, why would they shut down the National Enquirer? Right? I mean, it's not seeing that CNN used to be a news network, certainly not news anymore. But, it's they're a unique operation. So that's all I can say is they're a unique operation. And they used to be a news organization. They used to be respected. Oh, look at this. I am seeing coming across the news right now also. Goldman Sachs is getting on the bandwagon. They predict when a recession will hit the U.S. I told you about that already. Other news, Elon Musk lining up $46.5 billion in financial commitments for the Twitter takeover. That's going to be interesting. Think about this. No one got upset when when Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. But they did get upset. Now they're worried about the fact that Elon Musk might buy Twitter. Guess they don't like free speech. That makes more sense. they're shutting down CNN Plus, the streaming division. Yeah, well, no one's streaming it. No one's watching. The viewer, the audience is down. Last I saw, about 80% on CNN itself. Their viewership way down. They're taking a big hit. So shutting down CNN Plus. Well, was anybody watching CNN Plus? If you were watching CNN Plus, please put it in the chat right there. We'd love to see it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why the housing market is not a bubble ready to pop, how to use your tax return to build credit, evaluating a bid over ask presentation or for real estate. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rshomescout.com, rshomescout.com. Find out exactly what the market knows about your property. You go to the fourth tab over, put in your address, and it's going to actually tell you what your property's worth. 4 different search tools, including the big one that you're going to anyway, that's generally giving wrong information. But we put it on there because we know you want to see it. So we put it on there. Yeah, that's Z guys. So it's there. But we also tell you about 97% of America, what are the properties that are available for sale? Those are all in there as well. Why this housing market is not a bubble ready to pop. That is our subject today. Homeownership has become a major element in achieving the American dream. A recent report from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, finds that over 86% of buyers agree homeownership is still the American dream. Prior to the 1950s, less than half of the country owned their own home. However, after World War II, many returning veterans used the benefits afforded by the GI Bill to purchase a home. Since then, the percentage of homeowners throughout the country has increased to the current rate of 65.5%. That strong desire for home ownership has kept home values appreciating ever since. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a graph right now that tracks home price appreciation since the end of World War II. Ooh, look at that chart. The graph shows the only time home values dropped significantly was during the housing boom and bust of 2006 to 2008. If you look at how prices spiked prior to 2006, it looks a bit like the current spike in prices over the past 2 years. That may lead some people to be concerned we're about to see a similar fall in home prices as we did when the bubble burst. To help alleviate those worries, let's look at what happened last time and what's happening today. What caused the housing crash 15 years ago? Back in 2006, foreclosures flooded the market that drove down home values dramatically. The two main reasons for the flood of foreclosures were: one, many purchasers were not truly qualified for the mortgage they obtained, which led to more homes turning into foreclosures, and number two, a number of homeowners cashed in the equity on their homes. When prices dropped, they found themselves in an underwater situation where the home was worth less than the mortgage on the house. Many of these homeowners walked away from their homes, leading to more foreclosures. This lowered neighboring home values even more. This cycle continued for years. Why today's real estate market is different? Here are two reasons today's market is nothing like the one we experienced 15 years ago. Number one, today demand for homeownership is real, not artificially generated. Running up to 2006, banks were creating artificial demand by lowering lending standards and making it easy for just about anyone to qualify for a home loan or refinance their current home. Today, purchasers and those refinancing a home face much higher standards from mortgage companies. Data from the Urban Institute shows the amount of risk banks were willing to take on then as compared to now. And again, if you're watching our video stream or any of our socials, lending standards are nothing like the early 2000s. There's always risk when a bank loans money. However, lending up to the housing crash 15 years ago, lending institutions took on a much greater risk in both the person and the mortgage product offered. That led to mass defaults, foreclosures, and falling prices. Today, the demand for home ownership is real. It's generated by a reevaluation of the importance of home due to a worldwide pandemic. Additionally, lending standards are much stricter in the current lending environment. Purchasers can afford the mortgage they're taking on, so there's little concern about possible defaults. And if you're worried about the number of people still in forbearance, you should know there's no risk of that causing an upheaval in the housing market today. There won't be a flood of foreclosures. People are not using their homes as ATMs like they did in early 2000s. As I mentioned earlier, when prices were rapidly escalating in the early 2000s, many thought it would never end. They started to borrow against the equity in their homes to finance new cars, boats, and vacations. When prices started to fall, many of these homeowners were underwater, leading some to abandon their homes. This increased the number of foreclosures. Homeowners didn't forget the lessons of the crash as prices skyrocketed over the last few years. Black Knight reports that tappable equity, the amount of equity for homeowners to access before hitting a maximum 80% loan to value, or LTV, has more than doubled compared to 2006, from 4.6 trillion to 9.9 trillion. The latest Homeowner Equity Insights report from CoreLogic reveals that the average homeowner gained $55,300 in home equity over the past year alone. That's a national number. Here in Southern California, double, maybe triple that number. Odetta Cushy, Deputy Chief Economist at First American, reports homeowners in Q4 2021 had an average of $307,000 in equity, a historical high, unquote. Adam Data Services also reveals that 41.9% of all mortgaged homes have at least 50% equity. These homeowners will not face an underwater situation, even if prices dip slightly. Today, homeowners are much more cautious about their homes. Bottom line, the major reason for the housing crash 15 years ago was a tsunami of foreclosures. Why did we have all those foreclosures? Well, that was really simple. It was easier to walk away. It was strategic in many instances. You just walked away from the property and you said, okay, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to get this money back anyway. So why would I worry about it? Why would not walk away, start out fresh down the road? May not be something that you would do, but it is something that was done in many instances. Again, it was done strategically. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. And again, it's a great tool that we've just got for all of the listeners of Ron Siegel Radio. We had not had this one. I used to use something similar to this about 15, 20 years ago. And we haven't used this one. And one of the reasons that I really like this tool is it's number one, it's the only place that I know of that you can actually go out and get a shop for a home with no advertising. Like, there is no advertising on the tool at all. I like that part. You can put in your parameters of what you want for the property or what you're looking for in a property, and it's gonna help you. So I love that part of it. You can change things around. You can put your new pricing in there. You can do so many things there. And again, doesn't cost you anything. There's no advertising in it. So we like that idea. Then you go over to the final tab on there, and that's going to actually give you some options as to it's going to give you some options as far as put in your address, and it's going to give you 4 different choices as to price values for your property. Just throw that out there for you, give you a little bit of insight into that. Let's take a look at Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. I want to give you a little extra time to our price over ask model when we come back to that. So we're going to do that in the next segment. Pricing over asking. How to use your tax return to build credit. Maybe it should say tax refund, not tax return. The average tax refund in 2021 was $2,827. While getting a tax refund often means you overpaid to begin with, that hefty chunk of change hitting your bank account can spawn some great feelings. Before you drop all that dough on your next vacation or an impulse buy, consider whether you can do something more responsible with it. For example, did you know you can use your tax refund to build credit? So how do we build credit with it? Well, you can go to a source called Invest in Extra Credit. That is a subscription that lets you access 28 of your FICO credit scores and credit reports from all 3 bureaus, so you know what's going on with your credit. I'm a big fan of myfico.com, myfico.com. You could use that money to get a secured credit card or 2 or 3. We've talked about that before, how you can use that, get a secured credit card, put your cell phone bill on one, your internet bill on another, maybe a cable bill on another one, set them up for auto pay with your bank account, but have that secured credit card so it's building credit for you. There's something called a credit builder account. Credit builder accounts are locked savings accounts that work somewhat like loans. The exact way they work varies, but the concept tends to be the same. You secure a loan with a deposit. That deposit is put into a locked savings account and held for you. You pay the loan as agreed, typically making monthly payments. The on-time monthly payments are reported to the credit bureaus, and this helps build your credit. Once you pay off the loan, the savings account is unlocked, and you get access to that money back. Number 4, pay down your debt. Now, do it strategically. Again, we've talked to you about this. If you do it strategically, and we can help you with these strategies there, rsrnodebt.com, rsrnodebt.com. That'll give you a methodology of paying off all your debts. Also helps you maybe get them all paid off before 10 years. Think about that one, rsrnodebt.com. How about opening a savings account? How about paying any late bills? All of those are options. What are some other things that you can do? Start an emergency fund. Invest in retirement the right way. I'm not a big fan of the 401k or the IRA. There are other tools that I think are much better. Donate to a worthy cause. Big believer in donating to a worthy cause. Support small businesses. Invest some money. Do it the right way, though. Put it into some mutual funds or IULs. Again, I understand those pretty well. I am no longer licensed, so I don't give financial advice, but I can put you in touch with the people that do. Bottom line here is there's a lot of different solutions there where we can help you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to talk about bid over ask. How do you determine a bid over ask? What is the right way to deal with that? We're going to talk about it. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Going to do a little bit of a workshop for you today. There's a lot of folks out there that we're talking to who are dealing with the concept of wanting to win a bid for a property, but on the flip side, they don't want to overpay for it. So what do? How do they deal with that? Or they might say, you know something, I don't care if I have to overpay. What I really want is I want to win the bid, and I know that's very hard to do. So how do I deal with that? How do I get the data that I need? How do I know, am I being taken advantage of? Or what is the scenario? So what we did is we put together this little tool, and or one of our the tools we subscribe to, companies we subscribe to, put together this tool, and it's called a bid over ask tool. So what does the tool do? How do we deal with it? How do we work on this project? And how do we know? Does it make sense? Are we just being foolish? Or is this something that we really should be doing? Well, the question becomes, what is it that you want? What is your goal? And if your goal really is to win the bid, okay, now you've got a whole different scenario of working on things. How do we deal with that? What makes sense? So I'm looking at a property. It is in Santa Ana. So I've got this property on my screen, and it's listed right now for $600,000. And is it? And we already know. Okay, it's going to get sold for more than everything right now. Almost everything. I shouldn't say everything. Most everything is being sold above the asking price. So we take this property and we put it into the bid over ask tool and say, okay, it's at $600,000. What can I, if I want to bid $25,000 over, what's going to happen? What is it going to look like? Well, because of the way the model works, we put in the asking price, we put in the bid price, and it tell what we're thinking about. It's going to tell us on this particular property, okay, the asking price is 600. We want to bid 625. The valuation model looks at the property and says, well, the current value of this property is $554,000. Well, based on forecasts, it looks at it and says, okay, the 5-year forecast of appreciation is $191,615. So by bidding at 625, according to the model and the predictions coming out from the tools that are used, the forecasted values, comes out and says, well, you got 23 months until you hit the break-even point. Now, the tool is going to use long-term valuations. It's not going to use this 20% valuation model that we've been experiencing recently. Not using that. It's going based on longer term. So love the tool. If you have a question mark about any property that you're looking at, and you say, call our team and say, I'm looking at 123 Main Street. Can you give me an idea of what the bid over ask would be, what the break-even time would be? If I bid $650,000 on the property and it's listed at $600,000, would you mind helping me out on that? Can you give us that information? In just a matter of minutes, our team can actually go through and find all of that information for you and send you a quick report saying, here's what it looks like. Here's what our forecasts are. And obviously, our goal is we'd love to be able to help you with financing that property. That's why we do what we do, is we're trying to earn, our team wants to earn your business, wants to earn that loan business for you, from you. So just give you an idea there as to what that's all about. That's bid over ask. And we'll put that, we'll put that in our library. If you ever have any questions on some of the reports that we do, if you want to look at the report that we did on real estate yesterday, go to rsrloans.com, and you can look in the market section of rsrloans.com, and we put these things in there for you so you have access to them. What else do we have going on, guys? I mean, it's what do they call today? The weekend light or Friday light, something like that. You would think that I would know these things. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets in the world of finance. If is anything else exciting that we can talk about from finance? We talked about Elon Musk and Goldman Sachs. We've already told you we're heading into the recession. We know that one for sure. Mask mandate. I guess the government has decided they want to get back into battling for that one. We'll see what happens with that one. The government now talking about, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear thoughts on this one. Getting rid of student loan debt. Should the government wipe out student loan debt? That's an interesting concept. Now, what would you say if you had already paid off your student loan debt? Should they give you a refund of that money? How about this concept? No one talks about this part of it. And it fascinates me that, only our government, because of all the handouts, the giveaways. What if the people that took out the student loan debt were required to pay it back as an interest-free loan? Think about that concept. So yeah, you who's the money? Who's that profit money going to? It's going to the federal government because the federal government took over most of the student loans. So why not, instead of where we keep having these extensions? Yeah, I know the president wants us to believe, and it's not going to happen. The latest extension of no payments, no interest, is through the end of August. Do you really believe that the government is going to reinstitute payments and interest 3 months before an election? Not a chance in the world. So why don't they just get honest with us? Now, I've told you before, the biggest problem we have with all this student loan debt is the fact, and it's hurting the housing market. That's why I talk about it so much and I have solutions for it. It hurts the housing market. Young people can't buy a house because they've got the student loan debt. And it's going to perpetuate because the cost of tuition keeps growing. And how are young parents going to be able to afford to help their kids with college if they're still paying their own debt? Big problem right there. So what's the solution? Got to give you a solution, right? 2 things. Number 1, you got to reinstate the fact that student loans can be erased through bankruptcy. Why? Because there's no reason, there's no risk when a school gives a student a loan, there's no risk of them not getting paid because they can just keep on going and there's no consequences for giving out a bad loan. If they take change the bankruptcy law, which was done by President Bush, the younger, 43, if they change that law back to where it was, that's going to slow the increase of college tuition going up. Again, because people won't have the money for it, they'll have to. The second thing is clean up all this student loan debt. And I suggest you do that by making the government student loans interest-free, but you still have to make the payments. Right? So go ahead and do that and help out the young people get out of debt. They've taken on so much debt because of the ability and the promotion that many older people make on college. Should everybody go to college? No. I'm going to actually tell you that 2 of my 3 kids are not college material. Can they do other things to be very, very successful in society? Absolutely. We need people that are going to be plumbers and electricians and all kinds of trades. And you can make a great living doing all of those things and not going to college. So is college for everybody? No. So we need to stop chastising people that are not able to go to college. Just throw that out there for you. Give you a couple of options right there. And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Lovin and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, yeah, Josh is back there too. Of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just